there, Ringside crew. Did you miss me? So how you doing, everybody? So, if you're new to the channel, hi. If you've been here for a while, welcome back. So tonight, we are live here for the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm Joe Panther III, and tonight I have a young lady that is here and she wants to tell her story. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Amber Black. Welcome, Amber. Welcome.
Hello.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Ding, ding. So, Amber,
My Alexa's chiming in.
hey. So, Amber, if my internationally known fans are not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
Can you see me? My phone just went black.
Yeah, I hear you. Keep going.
All right. No, so I'm Amber. I'm from Staten Island. I wrestled in high school. I work for the fire department. That's about it.
Awesome. So let's go back. How did you go into wrestling? Like, who trained you?
There was like a new gym that was like right by the DMV, and it was kickboxing, and I was like, oh, I want to give it a go. They closed down. The UFC gym opened up like a few months after, so I joined the UFC gym. And like it was just like leisurely, like a gym, like kickboxing class. It wasn't anything like too serious with like MMA or like kickboxing or anything like that. But I fell in love with it. Wanted to join the wrestling team at my school because I was like, I like to be on like a team for school, like like why not? So I joined an all guys wrestling team. I came second in the city for a first year wrestler, and then that was it. And then I say like the past 2 months, I've been training for a marathon, but other than that, I've been training to be on the FDNY's boxing team. So I still have it in me.
Wow, that's awesome. Like that you what kind of like training with the FDNY would it go into like the UFC fighting? Is it like same style or is it like a little more intense?
It's so the guy who's my trainer, he won the Golden Gloves like a handful of times, but he's strictly boxing, which is different coming from like MMA and like judo because I loved groundwork. Like I prefer grappling than like using my hands, but now it's using my hands, and like I used to fight southpaw, and he's like, nope, fight regular. So now it's like a learning curve, but it's a great workout and I'm loving it. But I think it's a little bit more strict with like the FDNY than it was like with UFC because there's more like rules and procedures this way.
Crazy. So like with your training, do you like have to eat a special like food regimen, or is it like just chicken or rice or whatever like that? Or
I should be if I want to like cut weight, which he wants me to actually bulk up in weight because right now I'm in the 142 weight class, and I think he wants me up higher to like the 150s. So he wants me to put on a lot more muscle and says I should be eating like triple of what I should be eating in protein. But currently I do a lot of shredded turkey, a lot of like just turkey because it's like lean, and a lot of eggs and a lot of cookies. So if I cut out cookies, I should be okay, but I'm not giving up my cookies.
Cookies and ice cream or just cookies?
If there's ice cream presented, I will never say no. So there is that.
Let's talk about that this awesome book that you were involved in. Like, what was it like when you got that call that they're gonna use you as like the girl like in the story? Like,
yeah. So when I was first asked, I thought they were kidding, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I got a DM on Instagram saying to like check my mailbox, and I'm like, okay, check my mailbox. There's like nothing in it. Didn't think anything of it. Went to work, came back, and there was just this book of it. And it was like, hope you love the book, blah, 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 blah. And it was like this little blonde girl in like a pink singlet. And Lenny was like, I hope you love it. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. But it was good. Like I genuinely was shocked and surprised to see that I was like the face of the book. But so far it's been a good time. We've been going to like these meet and greets, these like Comic-Con things. It's been a blast. And then I've been like telling people to read the book at work. It's been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of likes. So
awesome. So like, have you gone since you've been doing a lot of this stuff with the book? Have you gone to like an independent wrestling show and like sat in the back row and like watched what they do in the ring?
I want to so bad. It might have been 2 weeks ago that we're supposed to go to do something, but I couldn't get my days off for work. And I think it was called the big event. And it was all like wrestling and all these like big wrestlers. And I forgot who was there. But there was a bunch of like female wrestlers too. So I was excited to go, and then I couldn't get off of work, and I was like, I can't take off of work for that.
There's a few indie promotions that are in the Staten Island. One we talked about before we went live, Warriors of Wrestling. They do a lot of shows. They have a training facility on Staten Island. A lot of awesome wrestlers, very sweet. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to everybody from Warriors of Wrestling. They're really awesome. You definitely just like to find out. Go to their page and give them a
I'll
follow.
definitely go to their page, and like maybe I'll see if I could like work out with them or something.
Yeah, they're good people. Very nice people. Very sweet. Very welcoming. Because I went to their show and I was just like, the newbie, the little blue jacket, like what the hell does this do with red glasses and blue coat? But so you're from Staten Island, so do you prefer the Staten Island pizza or the New York or like the mainstay Brooklyn, New York kind of pizza?
So I worked in Manhattan. I worked in Brooklyn, and like I had a friend who lived in Queens. I don't know if I'm biased, but I do think Staten Island has one of the best pizzas. So I don't know. I might be a little
Anybody that's
biased
watching
towards
this,
it.
put your hand up if you have anything to say.
But no, I do think Staten Island has some pretty good food. I do think we have good pizza. Manhattan, I just feel like is a ripoff. Even
Yeah.
like their dollar slices are just not it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's people there's a guy that I was doing the Ghostbusters thing. He's from Chicago, and he's like, "We have to go to Manhattan, have a slice of pizza." And I was just like, "We need to go to Brooklyn," and I'm not taking the train to Brooklyn tonight.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Brooklyn is good. I don't know. There's a few pizzerias in the Manhattan that I was like, all right, I see the hype, but there weren't many.
yeah. So you said you haven't really been to any independent shows. Do you collect anything?
Um, Not really.
Hmm.
I want to get into collecting cars, but it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You have something cooking up you're doing. Like what's that fun you're doing with your car?
Oh, I do. It's too dark to show you. But yeah, it's a 1971 Volkswagen Beetle. It's amazing. I love it. I'm learning a lot. It's good because it's keeping my mind busy and me active. So, but yeah,
Awesome. That's
I
so
got
cool.
it
That's
a few
really
years
good.
ago, and my dad actually bought it for me as like a gift for graduating like the academy for fire EMS, whatever. And he was like, "Here we go." We went to go get it painted, and it came out of the shop. The motor was seized, so that was fun learning how to like put in a new motor, swap it, and do all that stuff.
Wow.
But my uncle luckily I think he had a 68 motor. So it's not the motor that was to the car, but it's still an original motor from, I guess, the same time period. So, but it was
Hmm.
cool to learn how to put it in, take it out.
So it was your uncle that taught you how to do all that fun stuff under the hood?
Yeah, my uncle, he like rebuilds cars for fun. He had like quite a few Beetles that he turned into like dune buggies and like just racing cars. So he was like, I'll teach you how to do it. He was like, you'll love it. So, and he lives like a few blocks over. So go to his house. He teaches me everything.
Awesome.
And then I have another uncle in PA, same thing. So
That's awesome that he taught you how to do that stuff. So like have you ever thought of like with the book or like on your own traveling to around the country to promote the book, or is it just going to be like based just traveling to the local shows to do the promotions?
honestly, I would love to travel. I'd love to live in a van and support like the book and like take road trips down to like Texas, Alabama, all over and just be like, hey, here's my book and like promote it and see all the hype that it gets.
Yeah.
So
By me in Pennsylvania, there's some good promotions that I would say they should just see if they can set up a table like in the lobby or like in the where the wrestlers do all their
yeah, I know.
merch.
I think that'd be awesome. And like Pennsylvania is a close drive. Depending on where it is, it's relatively like close.
Yeah.
Probably like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think it's two. The where I be, it's the promotion is in Slatington, and like it's a expo center, so it's like a big room, and there's like plenty of sided space, set up another table and stuff like that. But um, like when you like we already talked about part of the book. Like, have you ever thought of going through the ropes and actually getting in a real like wrestling match, or is that like not in your like wheelhouse?
No, I definitely think it's in my wheelhouse. Wheelhouse. I would love to do it. I just don't know like where to go to like look for it. So when I coached gymnastics back in high school, there were, I don't know, a handful of guys. I would say probably like mid-20s, 30 years old. They would go into the corner of the gym and just do all these like wrestling moves. And then they actually had a wrestling like show. I think it was in Freehold, New Jersey. I don't remember what it was, but they did like live wrestling, and it was cool to watch and like see. But they would go to the gym I coached and would practice wrestling, but like I don't know who they were or like where they were wrestling from, and like I would like to find like a contact to be like, hey, I want to learn to wrestle again and do it, because I think it's good to have. I think it's fun, and I don't know, meet a lot of cool people, and I like meeting people. I like talking and stuff.
Hmm. So when you're not at work and you're not doing the stuff with the book, like what is like your normal schedule like between your job and like promoting and fun stuff like that?
Currently, there's a lot of running, but doing just running for a marathon. So my days consist of just eating a lot of protein. I probably go through like a carton of 50 eggs a week.
Whoa.
That and like just giant things of oatmeal. And I've been running. I try and do an average of like 30 miles a week, but that's about it.
Oh wow. Have
Yeah.
you been watching anything on like Netflix or like Hulu? Any specials?
So I am very bad at like watching TV. So like my attention span is just not there. So like I'll start something and as soon as I like sit down, I like fall asleep.
Jeez, it's like brew.
So like everyone's like, "Oh, you should watch this. You should watch this." Like at work, they're like, "Oh, Black, you would love it." I'm like, "All right." I write it down in my notes. I like set up the TV, and I might get through the introduction song, and then other than that, I'm like sleeping.
You should definitely watch Wrestlers on Netflix. That's a good series.
Okay. See, I
Yes.
can remember that. I'll definitely give that a go. I've been trying to find things at work to like watch. Because like at work, I'm sitting on an ambulance and I'll just like scroll through TikToks and I'm like, I'm tired of watching TikToks. So like I've been reading a lot of books, but I don't know.
Should watch this show. I mean, it's really cool. It's called Dudes at Ringside. It's internationally known, and hey, we're on it now. But should watch some old episodes.
Definitely, that's how I watched a few of your other episodes. Was at work, and then I got
um,
a job, and I was like, oh, all right.
so like I'm just it's awesome to have you on because I had the writer of your book on and stuff like that. Like, if you, I wish you had your book closure. I was like, if you want to read some parts
I
of the
could.
book.
I mean, I could go run and get my book if you give me like 2 minutes.
Yes, and I could
All
interrupt. I
right.
could distract the audience.
Stay here.
So fans, like, if you have any questions for Amber, see the chat, the live chat right there, right there. Comment, say, put some questions in there. So toward the end of the show, we can answer your questions live. So do that now while we're waiting. And I have some awesome episodes this Sunday. You will see Amber Love return. Make her dudes at ringside return, adding to Spooky Wrestling Month. And then we have a stable that will end out Spooky Wrestling Month on October 31st at 8 p.m. Both episodes will air at 8 p.m. and you're not going to want to miss them because Amber's back. No more promoting. Yay. So okay, let's if you want to read some of the book, like where do you want to read from?
Oh, wherever you want.
Um, I guess if you want to read for the first
I
few
mean,
minutes of the story, it's up to you.
yeah. I mean, I feel like starting in the beginning is always best, unless
Yeah.
you. I don't know. Hold on,
Okay.
let me go again.
Reading with Amber Black.
I'm not a good reader.
That's okay. We don't judge. We don't judge here on Dudes Are Ringside.
Especially if I know I'm being watched.
Oh, no.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
We're all ready to rock.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. I changed the name of the university in my head to AG because I couldn't pronounce that. So, but I could try and give that a go. All right. So I guess I'll start.
Yes.
This chair will stop creaking. It's the spring semester in Archibald J. Guinness University, a university named after the 1812 war hero whose claim to fame was selling Andrew Jackson's his horse. School is all abuzz with the start of the new semester. Ann Tobin, the school's student coordinator and a financial aid officer, grabs Katie Rashford as she's heading to discuss a class change. Katie, Miss Tobin yells after her. Fred informs me that your GI benefits will run out next month. We love our veterans, and I know it's your second semester in the forensic psychology grad school program. We will try and get you some grants or other types of scholarships, but in the meantime, we can put you on a monthly payment plan. Katie, a bit surprised, asks, I've used it up already? Miss Tobin, I will need to schedule an appointment with you to discuss my options, but right now I'm just trying to get out of Professor Enzo's classes. I heard he was a corrupt cop involved in the Lufthansa heist. Miss Tobin quickly interrupts Katie. All the rumors about Professor Enzo's are greatly exaggerated. He was maybe 5 when that happened. I recommend you stick with that class. It's a very in-depth and like nothing else you will experience here. Katie reluctantly agrees and insists on making class changes. She heads off to Professor Enzo's classes. Katie enters the classroom while Professor Enzo's is talking about how the class is the reality of crime. He further states that it is not a touchy-feely class, none of that nature versus nurture crap. Meanwhile, a student named Tommy rolls his eyes as he works with the Katie. I heard the only reason he is still here is because he has blackmail on the dean. Hey, Mr. Talking Head, what's your name? Professor Enzo directs his gaze towards Tommy. We're just going to ignore that. Me, sir. My name is Tommy Getter. Oh, yes. Your dad called a few times about you. A solid FBI career. Thank him for his service to our country. But you, shut up and pay attention. Hey, you. What's your name? A nervous girl replies, Brenda Clapham. What's the matter? I have anxiety, Brenda whispers. Well, you better get over it. This class ain't for the fear of the heart. Shit. That will probably get me another trip to HR. The professor mumbles and then says louder, but I really don't care. Professor Enzo's focus now zooms in on Katie's, who's taking notes like a champ. Scribble, scrabble, erase up the notes. What's your claim to fame? First off, my name is Katie Rashford. Katie reports. She then begins to tell her friend from the service he was beaten and raped. She wrote the congressman to try and get him to force the military to act. She, on her own, got the lead that the police used and was able, with congressional letter and criminal leads, to make the military and police take action. People went to jail, and her friend received the proper mental health care that she deserved. A very impressed Professor Enzo tells Katie that she is now in charge of Brenda and Tommy. He goes on to give more detail about what's to come. There will be family members of victims and lots of crime scenes, photos, and group projects. Katie, Tommy, and Brenda leave the class when Tommy suggests they go to the bar to talk. On the way to a bar, a news brief comes on the radio about a homeless man found dead behind Blake's auto body. Tommy quickly changes the station. Now it's a commercial for Manny Estros. Tommy groans. Along with wanting to sell everyone's home, he wants to be everyone's friend. Katie laughs. I used to date him, but he had way too many bedtime lady friends. How did you meet? Tommy asked. We met at a golf course where I worked the drink car for a charity golf outing. When they arrived at the bar, smooth-talking Tommy strikes up a conversation with the bartender, Isabel. Izzy, you're looking good and getting buff, but I'm sorry about your roommate Lauren moving to Chicago. An unimpressed Izzy tells Tommy, shut up, before turning to Brenda, asking her for her name. Brenda, please take Tommy over to the dartboard and throw darts at him. Izzy quips. Tommy laughs this off and orders 2 beers before heading off with Brenda to play darts. Izzy then looks at Katie. A horse walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Why long face?" "So why the long face, Miss Lovely?" "Oh, hello, sorry, I'm Katie." Katie extends her hands to Izzy. "I recently broke up with my boyfriend." "Men, they're too low for the dog to bite." Izzy commemorates as she shakes Katie's hand. Katie continues, "Plus my GI bill is ending, and I now need to come up with a way to pay for school." Izzy gives her a sincere look. "Hey, Katie, you're beautiful. With all that blonde hair and those big green eyes, I know you'll succeed at anything you put your mind to." Katie feels another set of eyes upon her. She turns around to see 2 men walk in. The one guy looking at her is familiar, maybe from golf course. The other guy's yelling at him, saying something about not being more involved. "You gotta get your act together. I want to retire and become a councilman, Franklin. I can't have any unsolved crimes when I leave." Katie approaches the 2 men. Hello, to the one she recognizes. "Detective, right? I think we met at that charity golf outing. Sorry." "Of course you did," the rude 2 men exclaims. "Franklin here would rather golf than do police work." "Give it a rescue to me," cites Detective Franklin. Katie snickers. "What happened to that poor man behind the auto body shop?" LT Toomey is quick to answer. "There's nothing to worry about. It probably is not a crime." "Okay, thank you," Katie replies as she heads back over to Izzy. "Geez, those 2 guys are the most dedicated bunch of crime fighters, are they?" Izzy laughs. "Katie, I like you. Here, take this." Katie examines the business card Izzy hands her. "Rogers Lumber? What's this for?" "Just come to the yard tomorrow. I might have an interesting new job for you." "Oh, okay, great, thank you. I hope you're up for the action and adventure. Bring workout gym clothes." Katie, in a not too confident tone, says, "Sure, okay." Katie pulls up to the lumber yard and is greeted with a huge smile from Izzy. "I'm so glad you came." The pair go inside a steel building that is the center of the property. It's full of workout equipment, mats, and a ring. "Izzy, do you teach kickboxing or something?" Izzy laughs and says no. They go into a small office where Katie is introduced to Brett Rogers, the owner of the lumber yard. "So, you're Katie. Izzy speaks very highly of you. Please, have a seat." Katie sits where Brett gestures. Brett goes on to explain that besides the lumber business, he owns a small pro wrestling group. "My grandfather was into sailboating, regattas, and his dad loves sponsoring race cars on the local circuit. But for me, it's wrestling. Isabella told me that you need a job. I also heard that you're a veteran. That's great. That means that you're disciplined and a hard worker. You can work at the shop helping Izzy with the books. But I also have another offer for you as well." "Oh yeah? What is that?" Katie asks. "Try training with Izzy and maybe Betty and see if you want to give wrestling a go. You can start out slowly, only 1 match a week, and make the same amount of money working 5 days in a coffee shop." A bit taken back, Katie politely responds, "I don't know, sir. I'm not very good. I'm not a very physical person. I like to run and do a little kickboxing, but that's about it." At the moment, in walks Hannah Glamour, the bleached blonde former star of the giant wrestling organization. She was seen all over the world, had some problems, and was lucky to land a spot with Bert. Hannah lets out a heavy laugh upon setting eyes on Katie. "Who is this cutie pie? Cutie doll, sorry, Cupid doll. I hope you're not trying to be a wrestler. You wouldn't last a week." Following Hannah is Betty Bass, a long-term ring veteran. "Honey, don't listen to Hannah. She's just jealous of your youth." Shut up, Betty," Hannah cries. "Let's go work out a match." Katie turns to Brett. "Thank you so much. I will take you up on your offer." Izzy shouts, "That's my girl. I knew you were a tiger." For the next few weeks, Katie balances schools, bookkeeping, and wrestling. Betty Bass has helped Izzy teach Katie the ropes and has agreed to be Katie's first opponent. They are brainstorming to try to come up with a ring name for Katie. They try Katie Cream, Roulette, Radford. Nope. Katie New, Romantic Radford. Nope. They are stumped. Hannah walks over. "What are you losers doing?" "Creating a ring name for Katie," Betty says. "I don't care what you call her. Just give me the chance and I will press that gorgeous face of her." "Hannah, what did you say?" Brett asks. "What did you call her?" "Gorgeous. That's it. Gorgeous Katie." A very upset Hannah storms off. The day Katie's first match has arrived. "Just follow my lead and we will work through this together." Betty tells very nervous Katie, "If the crowd takes a liking to you, then we will have a win. Then we will have you win in the end. The match is in the front of a very small crowd." Izzy gives Katie a hug. "This is it. Follows Betty, and you will be great. Go get her." Katie, all decked out in her pink robe and a matching pink suit, quietly makes her way out to the ring. She hears the ring announcer declare, "You all know Betty best." The crowd boos, but making her first wrestling debut is gorgeous Katie. Should I keep going, or do you want me to stop? Do you want me to keep going, or should I pause?
Oh, you could stop. That was great.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
don't know. I'm just waiting for you to.
I was like, I wanted to keep going. I was like, I don't want to go the whole time. Have just doing this. So I don't want to hold you up anymore, but like, if, like, I know you probably have a lot of stuff to do because you're in the field you have. So if there was a young lady or a young man that wanted to get into the profession that you do, and thank you for your service, so proud of what everything you do.
Thank you, thank
If
you.
they wanted to get into the service you were, like, what kind of advice would you give them?
Um, I would say just to be okay with running on no sleep. And if things like if you're easily bothered, I don't know if this is the job for them, but I also think that there comes a time of just like becoming desensitized. Like I've had a few like pediatric arrests, which I think pediatrics are still the thing that bothers me most is like trying to pronounce an 8-month-old baby. That is just like very hard. Um, but I've had some jobs where like I've had like people's head decapitated off of their body, and it's just like,
Mm.
okay, cool. That's a lot to take in and a lot to see. And the dispatchers like don't care. They're like, okay, you have to go available and take on the next job. And it's like, I just saw someone's head cut off. Like that's not something I see every day. So
Ugh.
I think it's just a lot of like learning how to deal with desensitizing thing and keeping work at work. And then I think you'll be okay. But it's definitely a job if you want to do it. I'd say go for it. If you like helping people, meeting people, it's fun. You see a lot of crazy things. You see a lot of fun things. It's not the job I want to be doing, but it is what we're doing at the moment. But it's
Awesome.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's sad that you have to see that every single day, but it's your job, and it's something that you're passionate in and everything. And David, thank you so much for commenting. It's awesome. Thank you for commenting. Do you have any questions for Amber before we depart the dudes at Ringside Studios? I could highlight your questions on the screen. Promo 2024.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that news I heard that we may be having a I don't know if I'm allowed to say the news yet, but this would be a really exciting when it's official, but all the fun stuff. But Amber, I would like to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It really means a lot to me to add to this story with the awesome book and finally get you on because you're the character, you're the person,
Yeah.
you're the girl, and it's all awesome to add you to my dudes at ringside. Uh, oh,
I
what's your
have an
favorite? Oh,
awesome time.
can you see the questions?
No, I don't. No, I don't see questions.
Let
Can
me.
you see
I'm gonna
questions?
pop it on the screen right now. There you go.
What's
Can you
my
see?
favorite chapter? I don't know if I have a favorite part. I like the beginning because it tells you like the story and it builds your relationship with the character. I feel like that's when I fell in love with Katie, was learning all about her. But I like it. So I like that. And then I'm not going to give too much spoilers, but in the end, while Professor Enzo and Katie are trying to figure out a crime, I think that's also one of my favorite parts.
Mama Panther up in the chat. What? That's Mama. That's Mama Panther.
Mama Panther.
Yes, the big promoter of this episode. Thanks, Mama.
Mom, I heard you're a big supporter.
Yes, she actually my dad is a first responder. Like Papa Panther. He's a former law enforcement officer, and says
God bless. Was
God
he
bless.
law enforcement in PA?
Yeah, no, in New York, in New York
In New
City.
York. Oh, nice. Where did he work?
Well, I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So, Amber, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It means a lot to me. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Amber. Amber Black.
and we will catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody, and thank you, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.